Well, the Camarillo Scorpions have been impressive this year. Not only are they undefeated, but they are ranked 11th in state and even getting some national love coming in at 64. It's something that this small town football team takes pride in.
We played some quality teams, and I don't think you're going to blow somebody out or anything, but we have.
Camarillo has dominated against each team that's come their way, including a huge 49-20 victory over St. Bonaventure. It was the first time a public school besides Westlake beat St. Bonnie's since 1996.
It's a really good feeling, but we're trying to set an example as seniors to get these kids in Camarillo to stay in town and come to the school. I mean, we just showed last week that a group of hometown boys just beat a private school just with all the kids we've been playing with since we were little.
This team is jam-packed with seniors who've played together since their freshman year when they finished the season 10-0. Now they're doing the same kind of damage. Nationally ranked at 64 and 11th in state, which is the highest in school history.
They play with confidence. They play with an aggressive nature. But they're still able to manage the ability to be humble too at the same time. It's a unique group, but it's a pretty mature senior group, and I think that's really been the key to our success.
On top of these playmakers,
I think our offensive line this year is the biggest story. I don't think we've had an offensive line this great in Cam history.
Thanks to the line, Jake Constantine is one of the top quarterbacks in the county, throwing for over 1,500 yards and 22 touchdowns. And even with all these weapons, not one player has received a D1 offer.
It's frustrating for all of us because we can compete with the top dogs.
In the next few weeks, Camarillo will be tested against some of the other elite quarterbacks in the county, but
just to not sleep on us. I mean, we come out with a big chip on our shoulder every week, and we'll prove it to you.
Some people probably still think we're still overrated, but I think we can really change some people's minds.
All right, over to Camarillo's battle. It was #1 versus #1 tonight. Big thanks to ASU Concrete Sports for getting us these highlights. We'll get it started from the very beginning. Calabasas striking first as Tristan Gabia to Brian Hightower. Now the Coyotes would take a 7-0 lead, then things getting a little messy for the Scorpions. This would be Ryan Mascarella back at the punt, but it would fall into the end zone. Now, it's originally ruled as a touchdown by refs, but they say Mascarella didn't touch it, so it's a touchback. Now, Coyotes head coach Casey Clausen saying some friendly words to the refs. All right, back to the game this time. Gabia keeping it himself for the 1-yard sneak and the touchdown. Now the Coyotes would miss the extra kick, so they would take a 13-0 lead to the second quarter. Jake Constantine handing it off to who else?
My man Otis.
Oh yeah, that'd be Isaiah Otis, who would get in for the touchdown and put the Scorpions on the board. It's now a 13-7 ball game over. Oh no, with little less than 2 minutes left in the half. Frankie Tostado coming out of nowhere, taking this one for the interception. He always does this to turn the game around. So Jake Constantine giving it right back to him, this time on offense. That would be a touchdown to put Camarillo up 21-20. So now this game went back and forth all night. It really came down to the very last second, but in the end, Camarillo remains undefeated. They moved to 7-0 on the year as they hand Calabasas their first loss with the thriller. Did you check out this score? 40-39. That is your final score. The Scorpions begin league play next Friday at home against Newberry Park.
Yeah, Calabasas went for the 2-point conversion late, did not get it. We got Panthers highlights coming up, but first to another non-conference showdown. Undefeated Bishop Diego hosting the top team from Division 5 of the Central Section. That would be Emanuel of Reedley. Trevor Saffel was at the game. He joins us live in studio with the action.
That's right, Mike. With the Tri-Valley League not as strong this year tonight, Bishop Diego's last chance to face a team with a winning record before next month's playoffs. This figured to be quite a game between two 6-0 teams. Congrats to homecoming king and queen Bailey Salcido and Summer Soto. Now first possession for the Cardinals. They're going to pitch it outside to Evan McKeegan, and he's going to hit the circle button for a spin move. That sheds one tackle and then carries a few defenders all the way down to the 1-yard line for a 30-yard gain. Then to finish it off, it's the wrecking ball, Michael Sirocco. Cardinals take the 7-6 lead. Next possession for Emanuel. Bishop gets the block on the field goal, and Tommy Murillo is there to pick it up, and he's got 6 on the line. He runs this one all the way back for the score. Bishop now out to a 14-6 lead. Ensuing kickoff for the Cardinals with the pooch kick, and it's Mark. Don't confuse me with my brother Sirocco with the recovery. Cardinals not able to capitalize on that possession, so it's the Eagles' turn, but they are going to give it right back on the interception by Dylan Street. Bishop Diego doesn't miss 2 opportunities in a highlight, and they hand it off to who else? Sirocco. It's the Sirocco show. He's off to the races, and good luck bringing that guy down. He takes it 55 yards to the house, 21-6 Cardinals. Sirocco would have 191 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground when all was said and done. Emanuel trying to get something going, but Julian Tico gets the sack, forces the fumble, and Michael Agnoli is there to recover it, and that's going to lead to a quarterback keeper. That's Spencer Stovestan, capping it off the drive. Things would just get worse for the Eagles. That's Will Goodwin on the safety, and it just seemed like Emanuel was still stuck in traffic. Bishop Diego goes on to win this one by the final score of 43-20. Bishop Diego completes their non-conference season at 7-0. That's impressive. They begin Tri-Valley League next Friday at Fillmore. Live in the studio, Trevor Saffel. Back to you, Mike.
All right, great job, Trevor. Tom Crawford, the head coach, 50-8 since 2011 for the Cardinals. As promised, back to the Channel League, where 2-time defending champion Ventura escaped with a narrow win over Santa Barbara last week in the league opener. The Cougars in Santa Barbara tonight to play at San Marcos. We start this off with Ventura 14-0 early in the first quarter. Hey, they had no trouble moving the chains all night long. Brock Mortensen knifes his way to a first down on 3rd and long. Cougar is going to call his number again, very next play, and he's going to waltz into the end zone. 21-0 Ventura. Now, San Marcos struggling on both sides of the ball, but a nice play here. San Marcos quarterback Luke Pollock is going to be stacked up in the backfield, but somehow he's going to flip the ball out to the captain, Ivan Reyes. Good to see Reyes healthy for a change. Gets upfield for a nice gain. 3rd down, Pollock scrambles, but he's going to run into a pack of Cougars. San Marcos forced the punt, and Christian Schaefer fields it. Coverage is slow to get down the field. Schaefer finds a seam. He's going to step over a defender and scores to make it 28-0 Cougars in the second quarter. Ventura was not done. They would add one more touchdown before the half. Quarterback Tyler Smith hitting Schaefer in stride, streaking into the end zone, 35-0 at the half. Ventura moves to 2-0 lead with a 49-7 win over the Royals. Cougars off next week. They are at DP in 2 weeks. San Marcos is at Dos Pueblos next Friday for that rivalry game. Carpinteria used a heavy ground attack last week to pick up their first win of the season. Tonight, the Warriors expected to make it 2 straight victories. They hosted Cantwell Sacred Heart. Cardinals did pick up their first win of the year last week as well. They left about 1 o'clock just to get up here from Montebello, I think, but the visitors had trouble moving the ball all night. Their first possession, Cardinal quarterback Christian bounced away, flushed out of the pocket, brought down by Jose Sanchez and Tyler Bray. Warriors got the ball, they moved at will. Aaron Vargas, inside run, first down to the 30. Next play, Jacob Garside going to take it in for the Warriors' first score of the game. All of the Carpinteria squad got involved on this one. The homecoming game, Rudy Beltran, remember last week, had those 2 huge touchdown runs. Big run here, and he's a little upset, though, he didn't take it to the house. Running back Oscar Garcia got it, the touchdown 1 play later. In the second quarter, Carpinteria quarterback Jimmy Graves connecting with wide receiver Hugo Reyes. There's actually 2 guys there. Hugo says, I'll take it. And Carpinteria having all kinds of fun. Their Warrior defense holding up its end as well. Richie Gallardo stops the run right there. By the time running back Timothy Jimenez ran back this second quarter punt, 85 yards for a touchdown. Warriors led 35-0. Some great moves. Almost didn't even get to run that one back. It was on the ground. Great to see Timmy back healthy. 85 yards, touchdown. A little push from his friend. Yeah, and how about Oscar Garcia? Number 5, 50 yards for the touchdown. Yeah, the highlights do not lie. Carp wins again, this time 54 bagel. Warriors play at Nordhoff next Friday in a Tri-Valley League opener. for both. Center Ray.
Well, even though Westlake and Newberry Park are no longer in the same league, there are still school rivals, and the Warriors and the Panthers usually light up the scoreboard when they get together. So we're going to get this party started in the first. Westlake's defense wasting no time bringing the heat. That's a sack on quarterback Cameron Rising, who is one of the top quarterbacks in the county. Then the Warriors handing it off to Daniel Fox, who was electric tonight. Now that will lead to this. The give right back to Mr. Fox, and this time he would get in for the touchdown to put Westlake on the board first, 7-0. Then with $1:40 left in the first, Cameron Rising going down the middle of the field, hooking up with Andrew Noble. Check out this hit. Bam. But he still holds on to the ball, so Rising saying, you know what, bud, you took him for the team. I'm going to give it right back to you. He would get on in for the touchdown to tie this game up at 7. So this highlight, pretty amazing. Off the kickoff, right? This is Westlake's #1 player, Howard, Theo Howard, that is. And I'm going to say this guy does track, because check it out.
Whoa, high hurdles.
Yeah, I know. Over a pile of the Panthers. The crowd went a little crazy over that one. That would lead to the second quarter. And this, Grant Bunker with a perfect pass to Vincent Korskol. Now, this would lead to a Mr. Fox touchdown, doing it all tonight. So they would go up 14-7. It was a tough fight tonight, but in the end, Westlake would come out on top, 35-24 in the end. The Warriors are now 6-1. Next week, they would host Moore Park to begin the Miramonte League action. The Panthers are now 5-2 as they head into their Camino League opener at Camarillo. Although I want dibs on that one, Mike. Can I get
got
dibs?
It.
All right.
Newberry Park, Camarillo, you will be there.
Dibs. You heard it first,
I thought you were
right?
going to say, what does the Fox say in your highlights? Is that just too late?
What does the Fox say?
Daniel Fox said touchdown tonight, didn't he?
You just don't want to say it. All right. I'll get you next week. Well, we haven't forgot about the Pacific View League.
We got both league games coming up as Oxnard was at Channel Islands, and just down the street from there was Rio Mesa and Wainimi. We roll on with more highlights next on FFF.